So you might think you know Bend, right? You've got all your favorite spots dial in, or at least maybe you know a little bit about the quadrants of Bend and how they work. But what about the Southwest Bend neighborhood district? Because it's got a vibe and a charm about it that sometimes even the locals don't always get right. We're gonna dive into this sweet little sliver of land located between Highway 97 and the Deschutes River, a spot filled with towering pine trees, hidden trails, and a forested field that might make you even wonder if you're even in a city. So buckle up, because Southwest Bend has a few surprises up its sleeve. Wow, has it been a couple weeks? Okay, so obviously we're talking about Southwest Bend because the title of this video, what we're talking about, is the Southwest neighborhood district in Bend. But what does that even mean? Where exactly are we talking about? Let's pull up a map. In all of the other quadrants of Bend, it's easy to really see and understand what we're talking about. The town is split up very obviously and with very fairly clear kind of delineated landmarks. So Highway 97 typically splits the town from east to west, and it's pretty evenly distributed. And Greenwood Boulevard typically separates things from north and south, because it runs kind of right through the middle of town. The northeast and southeast side of town is usually really kind of easy to understand. Northwest side is pretty easy to understand, obviously. But the southwest side gets a little funny, and that's because of the Deschutes River. It just kind of gets in the way, creates a natural divide. So the Southwest, to many, is really an area on the east side of the Deschutes River and west of Highway 97. Yeah, that little sliver of goodness right there. I think it should look kind of like this if you were actually overlaying a map. That's the spot. Now let me set the stage a little bit here, because this is a beautiful area. Imagine trees. Lots of them. Imagine those large, beautiful ponderosa pines everywhere. And hey, don't be surprised if you see a deer in a yard or a hawk up in a tree somewhere. Wildlife is pretty prevalent in this area of town. It really feels like you're in the woods or just deep in the forest, except there's neighborhoods and there's homes everywhere. Now, topographically, this area is kind of flat, relatively flat. Of course, unless you're talking about River Canyon, which we'll get to that in a little bit. So imagine a fairly flat area filled with old growth ponderosa trees, providing lots of shade in the summertime and lots of beauty in the wintertime when the snow flies. We hear from clients all the time who love the northwest side of town. They love the trees. They love the vibe that that kind of brings, but maybe not necessarily the price point. Well, the southwest side does have a slightly more moderate price point and still has all of those towering trees. Now, let's talk about the amenities of this area. The good news is that you have your own arterial road that takes you all the way into the Old Mill District via Brookswood Boulevard. It's an easy road that takes you directly into town, and it's very convenient. The minus, real quick, is that sometimes it does get a little congested around the Powers and the Reed Market roundabout. Anyway, if you haven't heard of the Gold Mill District, you've got to Google it. It's rad, and one of my favorite places in Bend. But I don't want to talk about that. We can save that for some other video. Heck, I probably did create another video. If you go check out right over there. If you need something a little bit closer to where we're actually talking about, we've got this little gem of a commercial kind of retail plaza called the Brookswood Plaza. It's an absolute home run for these adjacent neighborhoods, anchored by a small boutique grocery store called the C.E. Lovejoy's. This shopping center features a postal store, there's a preschool, there's a rather large number of pet stores, pet care. It seems like they do everything there. If you need to drop your dog off, get the nails done, get the groomer, get this, all the stuff there. There's also a Snap Fitness, a hair salon, most notably the new corner lot there in it, Jai Asian Street Kitchen. I don't even know how to pronounce it yet, but oh boy. It's my locals pick of the week. You gotta go check it out. Aside from the shopping center, there are also 2 elementary schools. You've got Pine Ridge and Elk Meadow. And then of course, there are the recreational activities, specifically the river. It's just the attractor to all of the recreational activities here. We've talked about the South Canyon Reach River Trail in other videos, but this is kind of almost the home of it. There are a couple of different access points to this river trail from this neighborhood district. You just kind of got to hike down the canyon a little bit and you're on the river trail, taking you all the way back into the old mill if that's your desire. It's scenic, it's beautiful. You can catch an amazing sunset from Sunset Hill that overlooks the river and overlooks to the west where the sun sets. It's beautiful. And depending on where you reside in this neighborhood district, the Old Mill District via the river trail is only a mile or two away. Parks. Now, there isn't one particular park in this area that's just simply incredible and offers everything, but there are a large number of small parks that do offer a variety of different kind of amenities and activities. Some are small, some are large, some are playground oriented, others are more kind of nature-scaped. Some are along the river, some are just in the forest. Point is, there are a ton of parks spread out through this area, and most of them are only a block or two away from any particular house. So they are easy to access. Hey, speaking of, if you're still with us, I'm gonna have to quickly ask you to go ahead and subscribe to this channel. You see, you're probably getting some valuable information out of this neighborhood district video, and so that you are, we wanna make sure that you get all of our other video updates because we post videos every single week on this channel. You're gonna learn a whole lot about Bend, a whole lot about the neighborhoods by subscribing. Hit the little bell notification, and thanks, there we go. Let's move on to the housing, shall we? Okay, so in the Southwest neighborhood district here, there are kind of two main key areas we need to talk about. One of them is east of Brookswood Boulevard and the other is west of Brookswood Boulevard. Now, it's not exactly like that, but for the sake of ease, that's how I'm gonna describe this. Romaine Village and Southwood Homestead are the two technical neighborhoods kind of on the east side of the road there. I should go this way. Now, most of these homes in these two technical neighborhood additions consist of older style manufactured homes or older ranch homes, like just a single level kind of ranch home styles. There's a lot of those in this area, but the cool thing is that they're all on larger lots. So if you're just looking at it from satellite, it's all more spread out. A lot of these homes are typically on quarter to a half acre. Which is really great if you're looking for a little bit of elbow room. And remember, this is also still in the heavily treed, kind of corner of Bend. Now, on the west side of Brookswood, these are much newer. Now, I say much newer, we're talking like 2000s and newer. The east side with the manufactured and a lot of the, ranch homes, those were kind of done in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Back to the west side, Brookswood, we're talking 2000s and newer. Now, some of them have just been built. Let's see, River Rim has a kind of spin-off neighborhood called River Vale, and that was just finished up a couple of years ago. Some of the homes in there are only a few years old, and they're beautiful. They're right along the river. But anyway, this is a rather large network of neighborhoods that all kind of blend and meld into each other. A lot of them were built around the same time frame. They're very similar in style and architecture, although there are outliers for sure. There's a few big ones: Elkhorn Estates, Aspen Rim, River Canyon Estates, and River Rim. There are some that have HOAs, there are some that don't. There are some that have pools and parks, some that are newer, some that are older, some that are right along the River Canyon edge. Oh, well, those are more expensive, to be honest. Now, most lot sizes here on this west side are smaller. You can, pull up the satellite image again, you can just tell. Over here, they're all spread out. Bigger lot sizes, half acre. On the west side, now we're talking about now, is much more condensed. So smaller lot size, smaller backyards. It's rare to see over a fifth acre. Like really rare on this side of the road. Most home sizes in this area are 2-story and are a little bit larger than you would normally see perhaps in some other areas of town. Now, in other parts of the country, homes are huge. Okay, so 3,000 to 4,000 square feet home, we hear from clients all the time that are relocating. 3,000 to 4,000 square foot homes seem to be fairly common in other parts of the country. Here, that's not the case. Please hear this. A 2,200 square foot home is average in Bend. And that might seem small to you if you're coming from, an area where you've got a 4,000 square foot home. Even for really high and expensive homes, 17 to 2,200 square foot home is what you'll typically see in this area. But down here in the southwest area, nestled in the trees, are 2-story homes that are usually larger than 2,000 square feet, up to 2,500 square feet, even 3,000 square feet we've seen. And sometimes with 4th and 5th bedrooms, which is really cool. Small lots, big houses. You know what? I was just thinking, we did another video about kind of this Brookswood corridor before, maybe a year or two ago. We're gonna go ahead and put a link up here in the corner so that you guys can check that out. It might have some more information. I haven't thought about that video in a little bit. There may be some more relevant information in there. So if you're already thinking that you might like this part of town, check out that video as well. Okay, so let's talk about the vibe real quick. It is bright and vibrant. People are active outdoors, neighbors are waving while they're out walking dogs or riding bikes, and there's an overall sense of quiet and privacy thanks to the tree cover and lush environment down here. There are always neighborhood events going on. The holidays seem especially festive, whether it's Halloween, trick-or-treating, Christmas lights, or fast forward to summer with the 4th of July, all kinds of spirit going on. And it's all within a nice forested feel, close to the river, in nice larger homes with more bedrooms, schools super close by, and at a slightly lower price point than Northwest Bend hoods. With all that in mind, if you are thinking about buying or even selling here in Bend, my team and I would love to be your local real estate resource of choice. You can find us by going to cromrealestate.com or stalking us down below in the description for our direct contact information. Thanks for watching. We hope you got some great knowledge and valuable insight out of this video, and we will see you over in the next one. Cheers.